On February 16, 1981, at the age of only 19 years old, Arne Cheyenne Johnson committed the first ever murder recorded in the 193-year history of Brookfield, Connecticut. Arne fatally stabbed his landlord, 40-year-old Alan Bono, to death with a 5-inch pocket knife. After police arrested Arne, he made a huge claim that the devil made him do it. With the help by 2 paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, along with Arne's attorney, Martin Manila, attempted to present the claim of demonic possession as a potential defense for his murder of Alan Bono. The courts have dealt with the existence of God, said Arne's attorney, Martin. Now they're going to have to deal with the existence of the devil. But strange things happened before the murder months earlier. In Arne's courtroom defense, he claimed that all of this suffering started with the 11-year-old brother of his fiance, David Glatzel. In the summer of 1980, the 11-year-old David and older sister Debbie Glatzel and Arne were cleaning a rental property when David made them aware that a very old man had appeared to him, pushing and tormenting him. The couple, Arne and Debbie, did not believe him and figured David made it up to get him out of doing chores. Nothing could change David's mind. He knew what he saw and experienced was definitely real, and it only got worse from there. The creepy encounters kept continuing, only growing repeatedly and more violent. At night, David would wake up crying uncontrollably as he would describe apparitions of a man with huge black eyes, a thin face with animal-like features, and sharp, pointy teeth and ears with horns and hoofs. The Glatzel family asked a priest from St. Joseph's Catholic Church nearby to bless their home, but David's scary encounters only continued from there, even after the blessing of the family's home. David's terrifying encounters started to enter into the daytime, not just in the night. He described seeing an old man with a white beard dressed in a flannel shirt and jeans. As his visions continued, suspicious noises were being heard from the attic. David also started hissing and having seizures, speaking in strange voices. All that concluded to the Warrens that David was clearly experiencing demonic possession. Psychiatrists who were investigating the case claimed that David had a learning disability. Ed and Lorraine Warren claimed that after the course of 3 exorcisms, David levitated, cursed, and actually stopped breathing. What is even more creepy is that David predicted the murder that Arne would eventually commit. I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to show you a clip from a very old TV show at the time that interviewed the Warrens and their experiences with this case. Here is what they had to say.
David was in the very beginning stages of demonic possession. We went to the house this hot night. I can remember like the steam and the moisture coming off the ground. It was a weird night when we arrived there. We were sitting there at the table talking. Now you would watch David and he would be doodling, you know, drawing or something like that, and he'd be concentrating on what he was doing. And then he would look up and it was no longer a little 11-year-old boy.
Now this, the boy would roll around, he would go into fits. I seen one time when he actually levitated, had extreme strength, terrible obscenities would come from him, and it's an exorcism that I'll never forget. It was that morning when David came out of possession and would not get into the car. He ran away from his family. He had a knife. He actually tried to kill his mother and his grandmother. The priest backed up, and suddenly that boy rose up out of the bed very swiftly, landed on the floor, ran into a bathroom, and locked the door. He would not come out. Hysterical laughter came from the bathroom. Finally, we broke the door. We got him out of there. We brought him to the convent at St. Joseph's, where the exorcism was performed on September 9th, the birthday of the Blessed Mother.
Yeah, September 8th.
And we felt that this would be successful. As I said, 4 and 5 men that would have to hold this boy down.
Okay, let's get into that just a little bit if we could. Now, here's a picture.
All right,
here's a picture of him.
Yes.
What's he
Coming
is he-
out of possession,
Okay, he's being,
crying.
in your professional opinion, that he was possessed by a devil or a demon, or what would it be exactly?
He was possessed by devils. That was one of the most frightening evenings of my life. There was not one devil, there were 43 of them.
43
which
devils.
came to me as a kaleidoscope, as if you were watching one horrible face after another.
That day, coming home, how when he woke up this morning, that his pillow was soaked with blood.
Now, the blood that she's speaking of is called an apport through teleportation. This is meant to frighten the priests. It's meant to frighten us so that we would stop our investigation. But we understand and know the powers of devils.
I have the full video and other sources in the description below if you want to check out the full video from this small clip more in depth. Now, back to the story. 43 demons are correct. In one of the exorcisms performed on David, he gave the names of the 43 demons that were possessing him. Arne was so desperate to help David win this warfare that he demanded that the demons leave David alone and possess him instead, challenging them. After the exorcisms had failed on David, Arne was in a horrible car accident during which he claimed a demon had taken control of the vehicle, forcing the vehicle off the road, colliding into a tree. Surprisingly, he was not hurt, but he was determined to do something to put an end to this demonic activity. The Warrens warned Arne not to investigate the well where David claimed to see an old man who was tormenting him on the same rental property they were cleaning not long ago at the time. But after his accident, he did exactly just that. Arne remembers making eye contact with the demon in the depths of the well. This was the last time that Arne was completely lucid until after the murder. Shortly afterwards, Debbie and Arne moved out of Debbie's family home, the Glatzels' home, which was too much to live there for them. The couple rented an apartment nearby from Alan. Debbie feared that they had brought David's demons with them. Arne, who would play baseball and sing in the church choir, would growl and say he saw the beast. But then later, he had no memory of that, just like David, Debbie's brother. On the day of February 16, 1981, Arne called in sick to work, and Alan treated Debbie and Arne to lunch at a local bar, where he drank very heavily. The two men had a horrible argument that broke loose over Debbie, at which Arne pulled out his pocket knife and stabbed Alan Bono many countless times in the chest and stomach while growling like an animal on the lawn of Brookfield Kennels, which Alan used to manage at around 6:30 p.m. An ambulance driver and officer arrived at the scene to find Alan lying face up with 4 half-moon-shaped stab wounds below his ribcage. The Warrens, Arnie's mother, and Debbie all claimed that he had been possessed at the time of the killing. The Warrens told police that Arne participated in at least 3 exorcisms back in July of 1980 since then. The Warrens explained to police that Arne screamed to the demon, "Come to me, I'll fight you, come into me." From that time on, he was possessed, claimed the Warrens and family. In the month of April, Arne's lawyers were given permission to examine the clothes and tissues remains of Alan, who had been cremated. The lawyers said that the absence of blood, rips, or wounds could prove that demons were involved. Unsuccessful, Robert Callahan, the judge in the case, rejected the plea, arguing that such a defense would be impossible to prove. On November 24, 1981, Arne was convicted of first-degree manslaughter and sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison. He was released for good behavior after serving a little over 4 years at the Connecticut Correctional Institute. Shortly after release, he married Debbie and now have 2 sons and 2 grandsons and live a happy, normal life together. Arne Cheyenne Johnson's case inspired many, such as Gerald Brittle's book, The Devil in Connecticut, and was published with the help of Lorraine Warren during the time he was still in prison. This demonic case also inspired NBC Television to produce a television movie called The Demon Murder Case. Most recently, it has also inspired a new movie to come in 2021, following a sequel in the Conjuring films called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which will turn this real-life story into a demonic horror film that will be even more disturbing. So, what do you think? Was Arne making it up that he was possessed by demons as an excuse? Tell me your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, and I will see you in the next video.